Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be talking a little bit about this Pinguicula Repotting and repotting it. Stick around.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
If you're new to this channel is dedicated to the care and cultivation of plants, and more specifically carnivorous plants, just like this Pinguicula. With over 9 years of experience, I'm sure that this channel will be able to help you out with growing your plants. So if that's what you're into, remember to subscribe and click the notifications button so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. Let's jump right into it. So I've just wrapped up the previous video where we repotted all of these Drosera regias, and in the middle of the video there was a telemarketer that called us and basically caused half the video to be cut out, which was really annoying. But now we will be repotting this Pinguicula Repotting colony here, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. So this is our Pinguicula colony of the Pinguicula Repotting, like I've just said, and we need to repot these plants as I am selling all of my plants as I'm changing countries pretty soon, and some people are interested in these specific plants, so they need to be repotted so that they can go to their new homes. So in this video I'm just going to talk about how to repot Pinguicula, and also a little bit of history about this plant, as this Pinguicula was one of the first Pinguicula that I have ever grown from seed. So let me just set you guys up onto the bucket over here so that you can see everything much better. There, that's a little bit better. Now we can see what's going on. So growing Pinguicula is a little bit more tricky than growing normal carnivorous plants such as Drosera. They need a little bit of a different soil mix. So in the soil mix that I use for this specific Pinguicula, I have a combination of peat, silica sand, and vermiculite. Vermiculite is actually the most important part of the soil mixture, as vermiculite is what changes the pH of the soil, which the Pinguicula actually really enjoy growing in. This is a little bit of an old soil mix that I've prepared in the past with the silica sand, vermiculite, and peat. So we will use this first before we use some more media. So this is really not going to be enough soil for us. So I'm just going to add some more ingredients. I'm going to have a ratio of 1:1:1 of peat, silica sand, and the vermiculite. So this mix is still a little bit too sandy for me, so I'm just gonna add some more peat in. So our new mix is now ready. Let's just put it out to the side. It's actually very heavy. And let's get our bowl here so that we can take out the Pinguicula from their current container and start getting them unpotted and move them into their new little pots that they'll be growing in at their new homes. So I'm just going to squeeze the sides. This is actually very helpful. I picked it up from the Drosera Regia video. It really does help a lot, especially if you're using moss. It seems that they have actually very shallow roots. So hopefully you're able to see on the video, let's just empty out the rest of this pot. You can see here from the side that there are no roots coming down into this area, which is quite interesting. I mean, it makes sense seeing as Pinguicula really are epiphytic plants and they grow more on like rocks and they grow on like mosses and on the sides of cliffs and such. So it does make sense that they have very shallow roots, but I was not expecting the roots to be this shallow, you know? So now the soil is not falling apart as easily as it was. So I feel like this is now the root level. So it's about half an inch, about 4 centimeters, 4 or 5 centimeters about. So I guess this is really the depth of soil that the Pinguicula needs, and that's really interesting. So let's just divide these plants up a bit, and I'll start talking about the history of this plant. So a couple years back, I wanted to start growing some Pinguicula, and there was a provider here in South Africa, and I had bought some from her, but I actually wanted to try growing them from seed as well. So I bought some seeds when I was in Europe and brought these plants in from there and grew them, all of these seeds here, all of these plants here, sorry, from seed. These plants actually grew really easy for me. I still have them currently growing in my bedroom, on my windowsill there, getting morning sunlight for like an hour, hour and a half. And they really do really well there. I do nothing else in terms of their care, just leave them there on the windowsill and they're very happy. And the best part, the most rewarding part is that I grew these from seed and here the plant is flowering for me. So it just shows you that, you know, you can get your own plants to make seed for you even if you grow it from seed, which I think is really rewarding. So let's just continue to divide up these little babies here. So I'm just leaving them really in a clump of soil that they're growing in because I don't really want to disturb their roots a lot. So I'm just going to leave them in the little bit of soil there and plant them up probably like this, or I will clean it off a bit when planting up the plants and we'll see then what we do. There are our plantlets all separated up, and I'm actually going to reuse this old media, as this old media has absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's still very fresh. I repotted these plants maybe 6 or so months ago, and a way that you can really tell if the media is good or not is you just smell it, and if it has no sulfur kind of smell, no rotten kind of smell, I generally use that as a way to gauge if it's still good or not, and also the time frame of when I last used the soil. So this soil is still pretty fresh, so I will be reusing it. So firstly, we need to get a pot to put the first plant in. So once again, I'm going to reuse the pot. There's no point throwing away the pot because it is, you know, it's plastic. We don't want to throw that away. You can use it a lot of times. I just tap down the bottom so that there's good contact with the water and the soil. And we're going to use some of our old media here to fill in the space that was made. Here is our little first plantlet that's going to be planted up. Take off all the old leaves here. And we put him right in the middle, just like that. And now we're done. Now we can leave it. So you have to ensure that you pot up around the plant, the little block that we made, because I don't want to disturb the roots too much. And there we go. He's all planted up, ready to go to his new home. And there we go. So let's pot up the others as well and show you the final product. So he's nicely in there. And what we're gonna do with this other little guy is try get a little bit of peat. Just a little chunk of little plain peat. You can't really see the difference on camera. And these guys will root. He has a little stub here where the old roots were, and you just push that little stub into the ground and he will reroot. These guys always grow back from leaf cuttings, so it's very, very likely that this guy will come back. So we're just gonna push him into there. See, and a little leaf has actually come off there. Ensure that he has good contact with the soil. And there we go. Now, that's what I say is not fair to sell this guy by himself, because there's always a probability that the plant may die, like a 10% chance that the plant without roots will die, or propagation of leaf will not work. So that's why I added this guy that we know will survive with them. So that even if this one does die off, there's still this one for the person who bought it. So I'm not sure if you guys can even see this, but there's a root. It's very thin and see-through. I'll probably zoom in and circle it. But that's how the roots look. Very small, little thin roots. So don't want to disturb them or break them. That's why I'm not really removing all the soil off of them. So there are all our Pinguicula, all potted up, ready to go to a new home. So if you like this video, remember to click the like button and don't forget to subscribe, as every week we post a new video. Thanks guys, see you next time.